On this week's show, we talk about the potential rumor of maybe boxing coming to the platform and the new partnership with Versus.
And with me, guest host Richard, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pello Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 33 of Pello Buddy TV. I'm Amanda Siegel, and today, folks, I have a special guest co-host joining me. John is on a family vacation, so is unable to record. So please join me in welcoming Rich Denham, who joined our Pello Buddy team a few weeks ago and has helped perfect our sound quality to bring you all a much better sounding show. Hey, Rich, welcome.
Good afternoon, good evening. Obviously, evening here from sunny Portsmouth. We've been enjoying the sunshine down here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I got to tell you, I think you and I have competitive views, right? I've seen a couple of your views, Rich, and pretty awesome for the UK. If you can get to see, right? It's something that folks really like.
Yeah, I mean the smell of barbecues from the commoners I'm doing a Peloton ride isn't my favourite, but you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Actually, Rich, I think it's quite interesting, though. You're a Peloton newbie.
I am. I was only scheduled to get my bike only a couple of weeks ago, but I had good fortune with the rescheduling and managed to jump in there. So I've had it a good couple of weeks, and yeah, trying to press on.
And you're enjoying it?
I am. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, and my partner's loving it as well. She loves the EDM rides. Yeah, I'm loving it. I've always got a soft spot for Ben. And of course,
yeah. You know. Did you use the app beforehand, or was this something that was kind of totally new for you?
It's totally new. I've been a road cyclist for a good couple of years now, but yeah, just obviously we're locked down, and well, I'm a fair weather cyclist as well. So, you know, getting out it was a bit difficult. So the winter, it's good to have one for the winter's time. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, if you think you're hooked now, 6 weeks in, wait till you're 6 months in.
I mean, you guys smashed me. I've done a couple of team rides with you guys, and I cannot believe how much. We'll see how it goes in a couple of months. Hey.
You know what? It was interesting. I heard an amazing quote the other day, and I actually want to, I'm going to pull it up because I thought it was a really cool quote that one of the instructors said, and do I have it here now? Damn, I thought I had it. But it was a really cool quote about comparison. Leanne had said it actually on her ride. She had done a Women's History Month talk with Ali Love and two members, and she had just said, you know, it's you versus you, and you know what? You have to really stop from time to time and say to yourself, it's you versus you, because I think you can get so caught up in the competitiveness. And believe you me, Rich.
Well, social media, isn't it?
The most competitive people.
Well, social media doesn't help, does it? So
doesn't help. It doesn't help. But it was really nice to hear it, and it's true. I mean, you just got to be out there for yourself. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome, and we're so thrilled that you jumped in, and that we were able to tape the show because there's tons for us to report today. So it's fun, and I really appreciate you doing this because I think that everyone would have been rather bored if they just had to hear me for the next hour. So
need to get some proper English accents. None of this made up American English accents.
American stuff, right? And the South African. Right, and the South African accent that we throw in there. So yeah, guys, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel, and I think for some of you it may be the way you're getting to see this episode today, as it may not have been released on Facebook. But YouTube is there for everybody, and certainly go ahead and press that on the right-hand side of that video, there'll be a little knob that'll say hit notify, and that way you'll be sure to never miss an episode.
And of course, if you prefer to listen to us on the move, and of course you want to listen, now I'm producing the audio, every show is available on all podcast platforms. And we are also finally on Facebook and Instagram. So just search for Pello Buddy and like and follow us on the platforms for all the latest news.
You know what, Rich, I do want to thank you. You've done an amazing job with the audio. I know that folks were really frustrated in the past, and we've been so thrilled to have you on board and helping with that so that we can present to you guys that are watching or listening a clear, audible show. Because from what I'm understanding, folks are really enjoying us. And I did want to go ahead and thank those folks that have taken the time to review us. This past week, we got a really lovely review from an Ali Watson, who is actually in the UK. So I wanted to go ahead and read that review because it was really sweet. Ali said, "Each week I look forward to the latest gossip from John and Amanda, who are great hosts." Thank you, Ali. It's amazing hearing all the rumors and updates that are coming before everyone else knows it. Such a great community. Keep up the great work. So I'm so glad that you enjoyed the show. And again, for you guys listening, watching, take a few minutes to review the show so that we can improve on things, or even better, get excited when we hear we are doing a great job. And I certainly was excited to get to hear that. But if it wasn't for you guys reviewing and telling us that the audio was, we obviously heard it, but it's helpful to get it from our viewers and our listeners. So thanks so much for that. And with that said, Rich, let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pello news.
So, first up, something lots of folks have been waiting to hear. Could Peloton be gearing up to add some form of boxing to the platform? There have been some recent hints from our instructors that seem to indicate as much that this is in fact something that we could be looking forward to. We're not sure what it's going to be about or what they're going to be doing. Perhaps Peloton kickboxing, just boxing, or even shadow boxing. Selena Samuela, during a recent Instagram live, which John Mills at Run, Lift and Love caught on that, was basically she was taking questions and comments from the chat. And the comment, "We need a boxer training class," was mentioned. And her response to that question was, "Okay, yeah, look, I'm not going to say anything, but stay patient, stay patient."
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think, Rich? Maybe with homecoming scheduled for the end of the month? Yeah,
we'll see. You hear it first on Pello Buddy, so...
No question, right? We're going to announce it if we know it. So interestingly enough, Rich, I'm not sure if you're even aware, being new on the platform, but there actually are already quite a few trainers that are available to instruct classes. From the recent hire of Bradley Rose, and as we've mentioned in the last couple episodes, Bradley was an instructor at Rumble Fitness in New York, and certainly in his bio talks about loving boxing and getting into the ring and fighting, etc. To Kendall Toole. She also worked at Rumble, and that was out in LA. Selena, actually, interestingly enough, trained as an amateur boxer and taught boxing. And Olivia Amato and Jess Sims both taught shadow boxing at, I believe the studio was called Shadow Box in New York. Emma and Andy also occasionally will throw in some boxing moves in their classes. So we have a plethora of instructors out there that certainly have boxing experience behind them. And I've never done a boxing class, but for those folks that have, and certainly my husband has done it for many, many years, has always said it's an incredible form of exercise. Right,
looks exhausting.
We here at Pello.
Looks exhausting.
It is exhausting. Have you done it?
No, I'm not sure I could.
Yeah, but folks love it. Folks absolutely love it. So I think certainly here at Pello Buddy, the writing is on the wall. We've seen it, and now it's just kind of a wait and see game to see when and if it's going to be launched. So that's something we can look forward to potentially. For all you yogis out there, Peloton has announced that the yoga studio will be closed for a few weeks. It looks like actually till at least April 18th. That's what they were mentioning on their platform. They had announced it on social media that the studio will close as they work on some new things. No new classes will be released, but of course there is tons on demand for folks to go to. This will also impact new meditation classes. So of course everyone is super curious to see what these new things may be. And, we obviously like to speculate here at Pello Buddy, and what some of the things are that we've chatted about is maybe they want to use the space to record some stuff for upcoming homecoming at the end of the month. Who knows? Maybe they even want to remodel the studio. Well, that would be a little strange considering the studio's only a year old. But there is talk, they did actually do a little bit of a refresh with the Strength Studio. So there's talk that maybe they want to go ahead and make it look similar to the Strength Studio. Speculation is also that Peloton is finally announcing a long-rumored rowing device or newer rumored strength device, and maybe need the space to set up rowers or the strength devices to record classes. And the last possibility is maybe they are using the space to record boxing content. Lots to speculate over, but unfortunately we don't have any solid intel to share with you yet. But of course you will know that as soon as we know, we will report something solid here at Pello Buddy. With all of that being said, folks, one thing we did want to remind everyone is that the studio will be closed today and tomorrow to give some time off to the staff to pause and reflect. So there will be no live classes being produced today and Monday. So yeah, lots going on with the studio information there, Rich. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
And with all those devices, all these new devices they're talking about, we'll see. Well. And with all that speculation of devices, Peloton have continued their acquisitions. And last December, Peloton announced their intention to acquire Precor for $420 million. And last week, Pello Buddy TV and on the website, we shared that the transaction appeared to be close to finalising. Now, Thursday afternoon, no April Fool's joke this time, Peloton formally announced that the Precor acquisition has been completed. And with this acquisition, Peloton establishes its US manufacturing capacity as well as possibly boasted research and development. Going back to what you were saying, a bit more research and development. We shall see. So it is reported that Peloton plans to produce connected fitness products in the US before the end of this year. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a huge acquisition for them. And, I think, with all these new products that we're all speculating would come out, it makes sense. So we're all kind of crossing our fingers. And as we said, you'd hear it here first on Pello Buddy. Interestingly enough, this past week, actually a new partnership was announced, and Peloton had teamed up with Versus. Versus, what is it? Folks will ask. And I certainly had to look it up myself because I was not familiar with what Versus was. But it actually was founded by Swiss Beats and Timbaland, and it's a musical evolution. Each event is an epic musical showdown between two of the most accomplished singers and producers across different genres, bringing the world unprecedented access to legends alongside millions of live viewership. What Peloton has actually done in this partnership is that they will bring some of these showdowns to the platform, to the Peloton platform. The first Peloton showdown was this past week, and it was a epic Brandy versus Monica. And what we got to do was cycle with Cody and Emma on Wednesday. We got to run with Rebecca on Monday the 29th. And Adrian Williams had a live strength class this past Thursday. And from what I heard, folks, the strength class was no April Fool's joke. Folks absolutely loved it. What Peloton were actually doing was encouraging members to use the hashtag versus Brandy or hashtag versus Monica for their favorite, and they will count the votes to see who members love most. Certainly something fun. And I have to say, I did do the Cody and Emma ride, and it was really cool. Wasn't one of my best rides, and I'm not a huge Brandy or Monica fan, but it was kind of cool. They certainly have extensive knowledge into the music on both of them, and it was really fun to see them, you know, both kind of going at it on the bike. I haven't had a chance to do the strength with Adrian. Have you jumped on the bike yet, Rich, for that?
Not these verses, no. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, Rich, so that versus is certainly something fun, but truthfully, the big news was the drop of Justin Bieber just this past Friday, and he is now on the Peloton platform. There are going to be 7 classes that are going to be done in this artist series, and just some of the highlights that kind of attracted me. Olivia is going to do a ride on Wednesday, Matt Wilpers a run next Friday, and what I did see, Rich, was that Irene Schultz is going to be doing a German ride as well as a 20-minute full body strength on Saturday. So it was really cool to see that she got into the artist series with somebody like Justin Bieber, as well as others. You can certainly head over to Peloton and get to see what the other rides and what the other platforms are presenting. There's going to be some yoga and some warm-ups and stretch and that kind of thing. But funnily enough, we here at Pelo Buddy had leaked that Bieber was coming as a class had actually showed up on the schedule, and it was pooled, but it had showed up. Irene's 20-minute strength class had popped in there. I think it was a mistake that it had got onto the platform. But Olivia had been teasing about Bieber all week on her Instagram stories. So we did have some idea that it was coming, but it was really nice to be able to announce it before we went live, so that those Bieber fans now know that it's official. And we told you first at Pelo Buddy.
I better jump on to some of those rides, definitely. And Amanda, we've seen this week, Hannah Corbin's had a bit of a special week. I was looking on Instagram. Not only has she been putting on her socials that she's become a homeowner, she's also had her 7-year anniversary ride this Friday. She joined in 2014 as one of the founding instructors, and it's definitely one I think I'm going to catch. I've seen some of the stories on Instagram, and it looks a little bit chaotic, but looks like a lot of fun. So we shall see. So
amazing,
and of course,
amazing that she's been around, Rich, 7 years. I mean, she's
7 years.
Wow. She's one of the first. She's one of the first. So yeah, I'm excited to do that too. I did not do it. I'm really excited to do that.
It's definitely on my list for this weekend. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'll see some of you there. And of course, Amanda, it's the beginning of the month, and we see a refresh in the challenges. And of course, this month is the April Strength Challenge, and Peloton have refreshed the challenge featuring the one and the only Selena. So maybe it's time for me to have a go with my weights, dust them off a little bit. They're there on the back of the bike, but just gathering dust a bit. So.
Yeah, so it's funny, Rich, that you say that, because I was never really into strength when I first started on the platform. You know, it was all focused on the bike, and you're a newbie, so you got to give yourself some credit there. But I think it's something that through the community, I did definitely pick up strength, and I'm loving it. So I have done quite a lot of Ben Aldis of his strength.
Oh well, then that's it. I'm jumping on it then. If Ben's on the strength workouts, then that's it. I'm gonna jump on.
Right. Your man crush. Yeah, 'cause Ben has some amazing strength classes. And interestingly enough, Selena was introduced to me by one of my Pelo buddies. One of the girls that I've become really close to in the community is a huge Selena fan, and her workouts are tough, really tough. So that'll actually maybe something interesting for you to start slow at, but certainly take a look at her. She's awesome.
So maybe maybe the strength challenge this month isn't for me then, with Selena being so tough. Oh.
Right. Start out slow. Otherwise, you may get scared, and you may not want to do it. But I will tell you, Rich.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. 5. Get myself a bronze badge if I give it a go with 5, maybe.
Right. A 10 gets you silver and 15 gets you gold. So you never know. You may be able to get that. And it's certainly my goal to get that badge this month. There's no question. I tried last month. I think I got to bronze, and it was just because of not being, my schedule was so crazy in the month of March. But now that I'm April, I'm focused and I'll be home and be able to do it. So I'm curious to see how I get on. So maybe I'll put you up to the challenge, Rich. And we'll have to see.
Challenge accepted. Oh, I'm going to regret that.
I love it. You won't regret it. It makes it more fun. Definitely
April
makes
madness.
it more fun. Well, one
April
of the things
foolishness. There we go.
Right, exactly. But one of the things that Peloton did do to get the community more involved in the strength side of things is this March Madness with their strength bracket. We certainly called it March Madness. But what they did was they have put out the strength bracket. And I'll explain in a bit to those folks of you that don't know what March Madness is, but they are now down to round 4. And basically, these are the moves that made it into round 4. Jess Sims' Devil Press, Andy Spears' bicycle crunches, Selena's single leg deadlifts, and they're tough, Rich. They're tough. And Maddie's hollow hold.
They all sound painful. They just sound horrific.
Don't they just? Oh. Well, hey, Rich, put them all together, which Rebecca did on Friday in a 45-minute full body strength class where she featured all of them. And I got to tell you, it ain't pretty the next day. That's as much as I can tell you. Every part of your body ends up aching. But it did give members a chance to vote as to which the 2 favorites were, which would advance to the finals. And what I did want to go ahead for all our UK, Canada, and German followers and listeners, and that are not familiar with what March Madness is, it's huge in the States, absolutely huge. It is one of the biggest and most exciting fun events in sports. It's where 68 men's college basketball teams get to compete in the largest tournament in basketball. So it certainly is something that we are riveted, and especially as one's kids kind of go off to college, you definitely get to, root for your kids' colleges. And Jen Sherman on her rides has spoken about Syracuse, being a Syracuse alum and being a huge sports fanatic. And interestingly enough, my son is a Syracuse grad, and we did get, we kind of got to the Sweet 16, but got knocked out, which was really painful. But it's fun to watch the teams. And actually, a lot of the top seed basketball teams had got knocked out. So it's nice that they utilized, kind of the March Madness theme and brought some excitement, because everybody does. We kind of do brackets, and the kids all will look at the different colleges and put money on who they think is going to ultimately win. We do it in work as well. Oh my goodness, we used to have brackets at work, and everybody gets very involved in March Madness. So we're looking forward to the finals coming up. And I think it's next week. I believe we're at the Final Four this week. So we'll have the showdown hopefully next weekend. But yeah, so that's something I did want to go ahead and explain to those folks that weren't familiar with what March Madness is. In other news, though, Peloton has actually expanded on a different note. Peloton has expanded their partnership with Chase Bank. So we had reported back last year in December that they had developed this partnership with Chase Bank. And what they've done now is they have now a points accelerator program for Chase Sapphire card. So if folks go ahead and buy a Peloton hardware, whether it be Bike Plus, Tread, or Tread Plus, or actually accessories. So if they end up buying accessories that accumulate a dollar amount of over $1,800 using their Chase card, they will actually qualify to get bonus points. So the Sapphire Reserve card holders get 10 times bonus points, and the Sapphire Preferred card holders will get 5 times bonus points. The promotion is going to run right through till the end of March 2022. So folks will need to pay in full using their card, so you wouldn't be able to do the monthly payment, but it's a great way for those folks that are able to get, do have the Chase card, or certainly looking at a new credit card. It's always fun to get points. And you know what, in the old days, it was about travel, right, Rich? It was how we could get miles on our cards, or, hotel points. And now that we're not doing much traveling and are looking more
at the cashback. It's all about the cashback.
Right,
now.
The cashback. Now it's, I think it's awesome that Peloton got into that partnership. So that was something that was exciting. Yeah.
And in other news this week, Peloton has put another court case and patent battle behind them and have been awarded $5.5 million in fees. Now, this is around an issue with Eric Valenci, and in 2012, Eric Valenci helped design the original frame of the Peloton bike. And then in June 2016, he created a new company, and shortly after being formed, they acquired a patent from Microsoft, which was rumoured to possibly have some patented ideas from the Peloton bike, namely some of the live stream and user data tracking on the bike. And this company, VR Optics, then sued Peloton for patent infringement. And the same company and bike that Eric had just helped create. Now, this has been working its way through the courts for the last few years, and the core issue of this case was decided around a year ago in April 2020, when the court ruled that the patent in question was actually invalid and awarded Peloton a summary judgment of non-infringement. So rather than attempt to prove and request an award for damages against VR, Peloton actually had just requested there be awarded attorney fees. And this week, the judge has granted that request, awarding Peloton a $5.3 million in attorney fees and $1.2 million in interest. Following the ruling, the judge dismissed all other related claims and has closed the case.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to put some of these lawsuits behind them. And I guess they recognized, let's just kind of get one behind us, because there are a couple that they're dealing with, and we've been reporting them weekly on the show. But yeah, I mean, this definitely, I'm sure that Valencia is not happy, but it is good. It is good to kind of get one of these behind them. And they're going to continue to go as the company gets bigger and, is making more and more money. They're going to be folks coming out of the woodwork, left, right, and center.
Well, and it's good that they've got a non-infringement summary, so at least we know that there's no infringement on some of the patents.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Well, one of the things that Peloton is doing right is their launch in Australia, and we've spoken about this, and of course I've absolutely been thrilled about Peloton moving into the Australian market, as I have tons of friends in Australia. But what we just found out was that they actually have just hired former Spotify MD and Slingshot CEO as the first ever Australian country manager. Karen Lawson, whose experience in leading change, motivating and developing teams to peak performance, as well as being a fitness enthusiast, has in fact joined the leadership team of Peloton as they prepare to launch in the second half of 2021. So she certainly comes with a very stellar resume, and I think will be wonderful. I mean, time will tell, but I think she will be wonderful in launching that.
I'm still waiting to see the Peloton app to be released in Australia. That'll be really interesting to see when that released as well. In preparation.
I mean, fun to see, the Australian markets, but I've had quite a few people now start to reach out who are starting to see it being advertised and hearing about it. And as the store goes up in Bondi Junction, I have tons of friends that live right there, and they're all, they all follow me on social media. So it's been fun to see that finally they now get, they're getting what the hype is all about. So this is going to be great. So yeah, good luck to Karen, and let's see what she brings us.
We've also seen an update to the website, the iOS and the Android apps. They've brought the more music and more instruction function from the bike over to the website and the apps. And this is something actually I use quite a lot when on the bike. So it'll be good to see it on the app for when I go out and about on the road bike. Get the waiting for maybe possibly some rumoured outdoor riding rides. We'll see. But
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And as well as that, we've seen on Instagram this week for our German community, Eric and Irene are recording the Encore classes from a temporary studio in Munich, whilst they continue to not be able to travel into London due to quarantine. Now, we mentioned a few weeks back about Irene not being let into the UK, and on Instagram this week she posted about the temporary studio. Now, of course, there are live rides in German, still being hosted by Cliff and Myla from the UK studio, as they already live here in the UK. So that's a little bit sad, and obviously it's a little bit difficult to commute in and out of the UK, having to quarantine for 2 weeks at the moment. So.
Yeah, certainly frustrating for I'm sure it's been so frustrating for Eric and Irene, because there's definitely a level of adrenaline that pumps when you're on the bike and you're doing a live ride, and you know that you're getting all these folks, there at the same time. So I'm sure that has been frustrating. But I'm glad to see, as I mentioned earlier, that, she'll do the Bieber ride next week. And even though it'll have been taped, I'm actually curious to see how that works out, because I'm assuming that they're going to end up taping if she's doing it from Munich. But it's got to be frustrating not being able to, come in and out and do that. But again, let's just cross our fingers and hope that we're on the path to, some normality, whether it be in Europe or in the UK. And before long, you folks will all be able to travel and get back to normal, right?
Here's hoping.
For sure. Well, Rich, I own one. I don't know who else owns a massage gun and loves it as much as I do. But if you haven't joined the massage gun cult, you may be brainwashed now to do it.
I nearly did this week.
Did you really?
I did. You nearly brainwashed me into it this week. I didn't quite press the button, but now I'm just waiting for the favourites. You see.
Well, so now I'm going to tell you, because both two of our favorite instructors are actually repping massage guns and the brands. And Robin has partnered with Hypertice, while Cody is with Theragun. And Richard, I got to tell you, I swear by my Theragun. I use it almost religiously before every ride, just to kind of I do a 2-minute, quick massage on my thighs to kind of warm up my legs. And I don't use it as frequently after, but certainly if I've got leg pain, if I've done a really hard ride, I use my Theragun, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So I got to tell you, if I hadn't brainwashed you
about
before,
the back. You see, it's
interesting.
I'm always that classic. I'm always when the instructor's like, sit back, bum
sit
back,
up straight,
relax, drop
yeah.
the shoulders. Oh, that's me. I'm so. Remember. So maybe I need to invest in a Theragun. We'll see, or maybe the Hypertice. We'll see.
I mean,
don't know.
Yeah, but they are amazing. So it's fun to see. Okay. I mean, we always get excited when we see it. I mean, the advert that Cody, I haven't seen Robin's ad yet, but the advert that Cody has for Theragun, and it's just because it pops up on my social media because I own one. So you'll see it pop up all the time on my social media. Is fantastic. And I think he's done an amazing job with that ad.
I think I'll dig that out.
Definitely. So. Take a look. Yeah, take a look at it. Yeah.
Last week, Amanda, we saw Sam Yo publish quite an emotive blog post entitled The Places I Come From. He's written all about the rises of attacks within the Asian community during the pandemic. Now, it's quite a strong read, but he's also recognised that xenophobia and racism is something that's been around for quite some time. It's a blog post from his personal story, and it's definitely something that's worth a read.
Yeah, I did read it, and you're right, it was certainly quite emotional. Emma Lovewell, coming from Asian heritage to here in the States, had done the same in talking about it, and I'm sure you heard in the news there was an awful attack a couple of weeks ago. that kind of precipitated the emotions coming out and folks talking about it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's, something we're all living with. And I think this past year has given us pause. And certainly in all different,
Absolutely.
Races, ethnicities, etc., we're one. And I think it's just so sad that we continue to live in a world where this is something that has to be focused on.
And well done for him for publishing
Yeah.
it. And he's hoping, there's no backlash too much from it, but there's also a lot of support for it.
Oh, and one of the things, Rich, that I found certainly with the Peloton leadership is that they are so inclusive and they encourage their staff, their instructors to be vocal, whether it was about Black Lives Matter or whether it was, now with this, with the Asian racism that we've seen recently, they are very supportive, of their staff, back to LGBTQ and how they've, have non-binary as one of the options. So that's what I love about Peloton and how they've done this, is that they are such an inclusive community for everybody, which
Absolutely.
I just love, absolutely love. Because I think what we've all found is that the bike is just such an escape for us, and nobody wants to see negativity or hatred or nastiness on there, because it really is an escape. It's an escape for us all to be able to kind of, get into this amazing world that we become so passionate and obsessed over. You're getting there, Rich. You're getting there.
Starting to, and it's good to see Jess Sims back now as well. So adding to the list of instructors to get obsessed with.
I know, she is. She is back on the Peloton platform with her live schedule. And there are lots of some very happy members. Jess had announced on Instagram that she was actually returning last Friday, which she did. And she came back dropping a 20-minute upper body strength, which was just in time for the strength challenge, which is fantastic.
I get it. I know. Okay.
As well as she did actually do a 20-minute core strength. I actually jumped on her Instagram on Friday. It was a live Instagram she did in between the two classes, and she just seems so happy to be back doing what she loves. She did claim that she is going to practice what she preaches about listening to her body and just letting members know that she would kind of be easing back into her schedule. She assured folks, though, that she didn't mean that it wouldn't be tough for those folks that were taking classes, but that she certainly was going to listen to her body. She hasn't divulged the reason for her month-long absence. That's something that, we're not sure of why she was off, but good for her. Good for her for recognizing
I think it's good.
that she needed.
Yeah. But it's also good not to just say, everyone expects to know why. Oh, why?
Right.
Well, actually, it's her private life.
It's nobody's business.
Totally, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. No, 100% agreed. But it was fun to see her back, and she's so lovely. So it was nice to see her excited and animated, and certainly thrilled that we have her back on the platform. Dennis Morton actually also hit Instagram up on Friday, and you don't tend to see him often post on social much, but he did with a wonderful announcement in helping to raise money and awareness for the One Love Foundation. The campaign is called Yards for Yardley, and the foundation, Rich, is just absolutely amazing. It's actually all about educating young people about healthy relationships. It's empowering them to identify abusive behavior and learning how to just love better. What I loved about it was he wasn't necessarily asking for money. What he was asking was to donate yards, and that would be in your workouts. And what he had mentioned was that there is in fact a converter on the website to help one figure out how to donate their time in working out. So clearly, folks can do a monetary donation as well. But I love the idea of him being able to acknowledge that just working out and providing your time is a
sounds
wonderful,
brilliant.
Hopefully
there's a converter on the website from yards, because I've got no idea what a yard is, even though I used to see it on the road all the time.
Right.
Weird English people with our measurements. No, that's a fantastic foundation, and it's really good.
Isn't it just? Especially for so many young folks today, not speaking out more and being empowered. I thought it was amazing. So really great of Dennis to have done that.
I saw a fascinating article on Slate this week about Peloton and post-pandemic. I am one of these pandemic growth people. So having seen such growth over the pandemic worldwide, the article was talking about, can they keep that momentum going with the gyms reopening? Will the demand slow down, or will they keep the rate of growth? Now, there's various articles out there. I saw one on CNBC. I can't even say it. You know who I mean. About
CNBC.
how actually, that's the one, how they're going to continue their growth, actually, are going to keep growing at the same rate, which, we'll see. With myself being a newbie in lockdown too, I certainly am not going to be going to a gym anytime soon. For me, it's about the bike and it's about getting outside. Now I'm allowed outside. Now I don't have to stay at home. It's outside. I'm not going to lock myself in a gym, tell you that. So we'll see whether or not Peloton, especially with all these acquisitions, maybe some of these acquisitions are about this growth as well. So we shall see.
Yeah, no, it was a great article, and certainly, it referenced, and we actually had Monica on the show, but it referenced how back in 2019, the infamous ad where Monica Ruiz featured as the Peloton wife. And the backlash that Peloton got back then, and as we spoke about it with Monica, we spoke about it with Monica, and we've spoken about it on the show. They got the last laugh because, that was December 2019. March 2020, we got hit with this, incredible world that we all became part of, where gyms were shut down, people couldn't work out, and the only way to release some of the stress and the tension was, in fact, through exercise. I certainly know I was became a complete convert. It was a great article. Good. Well, I think, Rich, that pretty much wraps up all the news. And I'm so thrilled again. I know it's a little nerve-wracking when one first comes on here and has to report you did an amazing job. And I'm very proud of you and very appreciative that you agreed to jump on and help me out with presenting some of these news articles.
It's a pleasure.
But you're not off the hook completely, because what we've been doing on the show lately, and it's actually been very welcomed by our viewers and our listeners, is our picks of the week. So I am going to put you on the spot, and what I'll do is I'll go first, because when John and I banter, he always tells me that it's age before beauty, and clearly I'm older than you too.
Clearly more beautiful, so even if it's beauty first, so...
You're very kind. But yeah, so we've been doing our picks of the week, and this week was actually not a huge workout week for me. I took quite a bit of time off. I was spending spring break with my kids and found less time to work out. So much so, I put it on my social media, Rich, but I was on this amazing streak of getting my blue dot.
I know, I saw that. I saw that.
It was heartbreaking.
Well, you were having a good time, so
I know, and you know what I did? It put it all into perspective. And I said I had so many amazing community members reach out to me, just feeling my pain, because we are kind of crazy. But you know what? It put it all into perspective for me. It's a first world problem, right? Not getting your blue dot on your calendar. So it certainly was something that I had to kind of go, take a deep breath and recognize that I would be able to move on. And I did. I had an amazing day with my kids that day. And usually when I don't do a cycle or a strength workout, I do a meditation just so that I can get my blue dot. And we were out and about, and I was busy with the kids, and I just forgot. Needless to say, I do have a pick of the week. And my pick of the week for this week, and I always tend to go back to her. So guys, apologies for having a favorite. And for you guys that watch the show regularly, you know that my BFF, Leanne, is my favorite. And that Rich is BFF in my mind. And I have to remind myself often that she has lots of BFFs on the Peloton platform. But she did a dance music ride
I saw that. That looked hard work.
Incredible.
Okay.
It was incredible. It was just a 30-minute ride. It was out of this world. It was out of this world. I have to tell you, I don't know if Ben, her significant other and DJ by night, is helping her pick her music.
Maybe. Well, he was on his social media. He was actually on the live rides as well. So
he was. I got a couple high fives. I got a couple high fives from Ben. I got a couple high fives.
But I think you even got on his Instagram, didn't you?
Really? Oh, that's too funny.
You did.
Yeah. But he did amazing. I mean, she did amazing, excuse me. It was an amazing ride. So for you folks, that's my pick of the week, was Leanne's 30 minutes dance music ride from Thursday. April Fool's, it was no fool. It was a hard ride. But that is, I'm just going to go with one this week, but that was my pick of the week. How about you, Rich? What do you have?
Well, my pick of the week was Emma Lovewell's 20-minute house ride, which was on Thursday the 1st. Pretty short, but short and sweet. That was always good. That's my view. If I can't get on the bike, nice and short and sweet ride. But we've also got some pick of the weeks from you, our Pelo Buddy community. First one from you is the Ali Love, which was also on 1st of April. There's lots of April Fools on here. But no, by the looks of this, it was no April Fool. With a 30-minute Hidden Hills, I'm not sure there was anything foolish about that. I mean, I think it was probably foolish to do it. But we'll see. Maybe that's my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think it was great. So what we ended up doing, folks, was that we had put it out on our social to have you guys tell us what you thought. So as Rich mentioned, Ali's came up as one from a viewer or listener, and another one that came up. And what we're trying to do is use the ones from this past week so that folks can go back and go. There were tons on there. So many of you responded, and for that we're so appreciative. But for some of the newer rides, as Rich mentioned, it was Ali's. I also have, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can make sure I get it right. Oh yeah, it was Jess King. Jess King did a 30-minute intervals run, and that was on the 30th. It was a 10:30 a.m. Eastern time run, and folks said that was their pick of the week. So I think it's a fun way of doing it. Certainly, it's nice for you guys to hear ours, but we'd love to hear yours. So I think Chris will continue to put that out there for you guys to tell us what your pick of the weeks are, so that we can feature them here on the show.
Can I add? I want to add another pick of the week in. I think I want to add a pick of the week on social media. For me, it was Ben's prank on Leanne, April Fool's prank on Leanne. Oh my goodness me! And that, I think, is what powered her in her dance ride and her party ride. I think it was a little bit of payback for Ben on the bike.
Do you think?
So I think so. Yeah, so my pick of the week on socials is definitely Ben's April Fool prank. It was fantastic.
100%.
Her face was a picture. So
no, you know what the best part about it was, Rich? Was to hear her say a curse word. Because I have ridden with Leanne for 2.5 years and I have never heard her swear ever.
Oh, that's why I love Jen Sherman's rides. I love it. I read an article saying actually if you curse, you get more adrenaline and you perform better apparently. So I'm sticking to that.
Clearly, she was continuing to curse all the way to the gym, and then when she got onto the bike, she put it all into that ride. Because I got to tell you, and as you said, Ben hopped on the ride, and he said it was payback because it was such a hard ride.
It's got to be. I think so.
So yeah, Rich, and although we mentioned it earlier in the show, there were a few folks that had chosen that Cody Emma ride, the Versus ride, as their pick of the week. So there was certainly a plethora of different material, and that's what I love about the platform, is that there's something for everybody. It certainly wasn't my pick of the week. I preferred something like what Leanne did. You preferred, a quick 20-minute, Emma ride, but there's something for everybody, and that's what I love about the platform. So I think it was a great way. And that's why we encourage you, because again, I have my favorites. John has his favorites. Now we get Rich with his little bit in there. But certainly for folks, we want you and encourage you to tell us what your favorites are and what you really feel you got, whether you hit a PR on that ride or whether it really just kind of gave you an adrenaline that was amazing. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about community. And that's what we here at Pello Buddy are all about, right?
Absolutely.
So with that, Rich, again, I want to just thank you so much for taking the time and being a part of this. It'll probably be kind of weird as you mix the sound and make sure that everything comes out great, hearing yourself back.
The worst thing.
But you did an amazing job, and I'm so appreciative for you for you coming on here and helping John while he's driving miles and miles and miles back from Tennessee to Michigan. We miss you, John, and we look forward to having you back. Okay. But it was lovely to get the English accent back on and to hear Rich. So, folks, from me here. The last week in Florida. I'll be back in Maryland next week, making sure that the sound is still good. We will be very sure to find a perfect spot for me to record. See you guys on the leaderboard, and bye for now.
See you on the bike. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Pello Buddy TV podcast, your resource for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us on the leaderboard using the Pello Buddy TV tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pello Buddy. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode.